Let's do a Venn diagram problem. We have this survey situation. In a survey of 300 people, 122 drive Fords, 150 drive Chevys, 62 drive Nissans, 38 drive Fords and Chevys, 20 drive Fords and Nissans, 28 drive Chevys and Nissans, and 36 drive none of these. So we're going to fill in a Venn diagram. You may be wondering why I've given you two. You'll see in just a minute. So we always try to read through this, and then typically, if you've noticed, you've done a few of these, you start at the bottom and you work your way up. So 36 drive none of these. So which region in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, is none? Well, it's outside the circles, which is region 8. So we're going to put 36 out there. And then we start, going up, like I said, usually kind of go up like this. We try to fill in the most restricted region first. We really would like to fill in this region right here, region 5, first. Do we have any information here that talks about how many people drive Ford, Chevy, and Nissan? We don't. Because if you look, we have information about pairs of these, Fords and Chevys, Fords and Nissans, Chevy and Nissan, but not all three. We have to start here. We need to know how many people drive all three. We don't know exactly, but we can represent that value by X. X represents some number. For now, it's going to be a placeholder. We're just going to call it X. And then we're going to go back here. 28 drive Chevys and Nissans. So here's the Chevy circle. Here's the Nissan circle. Okay. We see that 28 drive Chevys and Nissans. So Chevy and Nissan intersect in those two regions. You see that? So I'm going to erase this so you can sort of see what we're doing. These two regions right here must add up to 28. Well, it'd be really easy if I knew what this value was. For example, if this was 8, then this region would have to have 20 in it, because you would subtract. And if this was 1, this would have to have 27, because the whole thing must sum up to 28. Well, the problem is I don't know what X is. X is just a placeholder. It's a variable. It represents some value we're going to find in a little bit. So we're going to do the same thing I just said. We're going to subtract 28 minus whatever number's in there. Well, the number that's in there is X. So we're going to do 28 minus X is in that region right there. Okay, so we did that. So 20 drive Fords and Nissans. So now we're looking at the Ford circle and the Nissan circle. 20 drive Fords and Nissans. So whatever these guys have in common. Which, as you can see, again, two regions. Both of these regions here, when you put them together, will add up to 20. So how many people are over here? If I knew what this middle region was, what number actually X took the place of, then I could just subtract, but I don't know. So we would do 20 minus whatever number's here. So we're going to write that as 20 minus X. And then 38 drive Fords and Chevys. So here's the Ford circle. Here's the Chevy circle. Fords and Chevys. Fords and Chevys. Those two regions right there. Fords and Chevys. Both of these regions add up to 38. So hopefully you're starting to get the drill now. This is 38 minus X. 62 drive Nissan, so the whole Nissan circle has to add up to 62. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it in this purple color. So I'm just kind of circle like this. That's not purple. 62 drive Nissan, so the whole thing has to add up to 62. So we do 62 minus the three values that are in the regions already. So 20 minus X, minus X, minus 28 minus X. Okay, so let's do some scratch work. So this is going to be 62 minus, well, we're going to distribute that negative sign in front. So 62 minus 20 plus X minus X minus 28 plus X. And then we're going to clean that up. So we get what? 62 minus 20 minus 28. 62, 20 minus 28. So this is 14. And look at the x's. We see that we have a plus x and a minus x, so those cancel. So it looks like we just end up with 14 plus x in here. Okay. 14 plus x. Or x plus 14. Same thing, right? Okay. So then we're going to do the same thing with the other regions. The next piece says what? 150 drive Chevys. So here's the Chevy circle. That whole circle has to add up to 150. I'm going to go ahead and write it up here just to have a little bit of room. So that's 150 minus. The whole thing's 150. So 150 minus this, minus this, minus this would give us the number that's supposed to be in this region. So 150 minus parentheses 38 minus x minus 28 minus x. We're again going to distribute these negative signs. So we have 150 minus 38 plus x, because we distributed negative times a negative, minus x minus 28 plus x. So we get 150 minus 38 minus 28. So it looks like we have an 84. Now look at the x's again. We have a plus x and a minus x, so these are going to cancel. We still have this guy, right? So 84 plus x, and that is going to go right in here. Okay, there's one more piece of information we haven't used yet. So let's just, I guess I'll do it in green. 120 drive Fords. So this whole circle adds up to 122 drive Fords. That whole circle adds up to 122. So again, I'm just going to come over here and do some scratch. So I'm going to have 122 minus the 3 regions that are already labeled, right? So 122 minus 38 minus x, minus 20 minus x. And we're going to distribute as we did before. So 122 minus 38 plus x, minus 20 plus x. So we get 122, looks like minus 38 minus 20. Y'all check me. So it looks like this is a 64. Again, plus x minus x cancels out. We're left with just this x. So it looks like we have 64 plus x, and that goes in here like that. How do we find x? We've labeled all the regions now. How do we find x? Well, how many people were surveyed? The only piece of information we haven't used yet is how many people were surveyed. In a survey of 300 people, so this is going to be the sum of all 8 regions in the box inside our universal set U. Remember, U represents the whole box, not just the outside. So if we're going to sum up all the regions, we're going to add that up and we're going to get 300. So we're going to do 64 plus x plus 38 minus x plus 84 plus x. Do you see where I'm doing this? 64 plus x, 38 minus x, 84 plus x. So I'm just adding these up. And I'm going to do these 3 regions and this region and this region. Okay, so plus 84 plus x. So now I'm at plus 20 minus x. I'm going to go ahead and just continue the equation down here. Sorry, plus x plus 28 minus x plus, looks like it's 14 plus x plus 36. So this, and this goes right here. And the sum, they told us, is 300. Equals 300. So let's start cleaning it up. We're going to add up all of the numbers on the left. So it looks like we have 64 plus 38 plus, what is it, 84 plus 20 plus 28 plus 14 plus 36. So it looks like we have 284 on the left-hand side. Now let's look at the x's. We have a plus x and a minus x. These guys are going to cancel. We have a plus x and a minus x. These guys are going to cancel. A plus x and a minus x, those are going to cancel. We just have one x that remains. So 284 plus x equals 300. So do 300 minus 284. We see that x equals 16. Well, where was x? X was the value we put in the very, very middlemost section, right? So that means this is 16. Okay, and then we just go piece by piece. We have 28 minus x, so that's 28 minus 16. So this is going to be 12. Then we have over here 20 minus x, so 20 minus 16 is 4. Then we have 14 plus x, so 14 plus 16, we end up with 30. Where are we now? So 64 plus the middle of 16, you get what, 80 over here? Where am I at? 38 minus 16 looks like that is 22 right here. 84 plus 16, you have 100, and we knew we had 36 out here to begin with. Okay, so now let's answer some questions now that we've filled in our Venn diagram. How many people do not drive Chevys? So here's the Chevy circle. We're looking at the people who are not in the Chevy circle. Okay, so 80 plus 4 plus 30 plus 36. So it looks like that is what, 150? So 150 people do not drive Chevys. Does that make sense? Okay. How many drive Fords or Chevys? So Ford or Chevy or both. Remember, or both is implied. So we're going to have 80 plus 22 plus 100 plus 4 plus 16 plus 12. And what is that? 234. How many drive all three? Well, that's what we just found. That's the 16. How many drive only Fords? So only Fords are going to be the part of the circle that doesn't touch any other circles. So that's just 80. And then what? How many drive Fords but not Nissans? Fords but not Nissans. So I'm looking at the Ford circle. And I'm saying, okay, I'm going to use all of the Ford circle except the Nissan piece. So 80 plus 22, which is what, 102? I think there's one more question. Of those who drive Nissans, how many drive Fords? Okay, so of those that drive Nissans, now I'm looking at, here's the Nissans. Of those that drive Nissans, how many drive Fords? Okay, well, that's these right here, right? So what, 4 plus 16? What is that? 4 plus 16, we end up with 20. Taking all the questions? Okay. Good times, fun stuff, right?